about 3 or 4 episodes of this ago, I actually said I had some optimism about the Labour Party.
Right.
I want to kind of talk about that now.
And I remember saying to you, give it a year,
yeah,
and we'll be saying on this podcast, do you remember how good the Tories were compared to this shambles?
Well, I've given it a month, and there was an article in the Telegraph, and I kind of looked at it and I thought, God, you're right. And so 1 month in, what have Labour given us? And you might be add to this list. They're freeing violent offenders.
Yep.
They are allowing men to compete in women's sports. The new Culture Secretary says she doesn't have a problem with that. They're giving illegal migrants amnesty.
Yep.
They're giving 11 billion in aid to foreign governments to help them with climate change.
Yes, they are.
And at the same time as they give the 11 billion in aid to foreign governments to assist them in their climate change actions, they have removed the winter hardship grant for certain pensioners as well. So, in summary...
Can I add one?
Go on, add one, yeah.
And they are removing the free speech law for universities.
And that's a big one.
Yeah.
I know Toby Young's really angry about that. So basically the shit.
Yeah, but we knew that. The question is...
I'm upset, Nick, because I thought they were okay.
No, the question is, we knew they were going to be shit. The question is, will their shitness damage the country any quicker than the Tories' shitness over 14 years?
Well, that's a very interesting point, because when we talked about the Southport incident and Starmer turned up pathetically with his little bunch of roses or whatever it was, you said to me, oh, this isn't their fault, this is the previous government. But my argument to you about, I think they're the same government.
Oh, they are.
I think that the Labour government basically endorsed, condoned, supported everything the Tories did over their 15 years or whatever, 11 years, whatever they were in. And I think they're just simply carrying on something that they... And we saw that specifically, I think, during COVID. You know, the Labour government is meant to be was meant to be an opposition.
Yeah.
COVID, the horrific things that happened, the lockdowns, the way people were treated, the economy destroyed, you know, old people killed in en masse in nursing homes. That was all condoned and supported. And I remember Starmer.
Not only was it supported by the Labour Party, they wanted it harder, stronger and faster.
Correct, yeah.
They wanted the government to go further
Yeah.
on all those things.
Yeah. And I think you're right. That sums up the Labour government, the Labour opposition. They wanted to go in harder than the Tories were going in on all the things that the grotty Tories introduced. So I hold Starmer as culpable for Southport as I do the previous government, basically.
I hold Parliament, the whole of Parliament, responsible for that. The reason why I keep emphasising they've only been in power 4 weeks, it was a Tory government, is because if we're not careful, I'm seeing it already, there's a narrative starting now that look how bad things are under Labour. It's all Labour's fault. If only we could get Tories again. And it's like, no, you need to understand. This isn't Labour government. This is 14 years. This is like, 15 years of New Labour, 14 years of the Tories, and we've got 5-6 weeks now of a Labour government. Stop thinking swapping to the other party is going to solve all our problems. That's why I keep emphasising to make sure we don't go back to that flip-flop where people 2 years from now go, I'm voting Tory again because we've got to get rid... No. Getting rid of this shit and replacing it with that shit isn't the answer.
Yes, correct. I agree. And as we've always said, that for me, Labour and the Tories are two cheeks of the same arse.
Yeah.
Sorry, so my succinct summary of Labour in the first month is shit. Would you agree with that? Or have you got a more nuanced view on what's happened in the first month? With
I think that they're doing as badly as I expected.
So you're not disappointed, at least?
I'm not, because I expect them to be horrendous.
Yeah.
They are doing... What's happening is what I predicted, as in they're not popular. They're not popular with their own supporters. No, they're cancelling the winter allowance for pensioners, winter fuel allowance. They're doing... The left wing of the Labour Party criticise them already. They've done one or two things that people think are good, such as they've ended the junior doctor strike. Well, yeah, that's great. 20% pay rise.
Yes.
Let's see who comes out of the woodwork now for pay rises.
Oh yeah, it's happening already. The GPs are talking about it, aren't they?
Why? So they've just settled also teachers and other NHS workers have settled that first at 5.5%. If you're a teacher or an NHS worker now and a doctor has just got 20%, are you speaking to your union going, I want 20%. They've given them 20%.
Yeah.
The next few years, there's going to be nothing but industrial action. And once it starts and they're successful in the public sector, it doesn't take long for the private sector then to go,
correct.
They're all getting 10, 20% pay rises.
Yeah.
I'm on 2.5% pay rise if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And we're in for strikes over the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. And it seems there that Labour seems to be going, oh, we'll right the wrongs of the Tories, so we'll sort out all these pay things. But of course, you're right. As soon as you give a 20% pay rise to one government department, the other ones are going to follow suit.
And I don't blame them for wanting it.
No, it's human behaviour.
Why are they deserving 20%?
Yeah.
But I'm not. I empty bins.
Yeah.
I process passports. I make sure that the system... I'm just as valuable as junior doctors. And, yeah.
So I've gone from optimism to shit. You've gone from shit to shit, basically. So
I think I think it's going to be a good year before we can really judge this Labour government.
Yeah. We'll meet in a year. Interestingly, my wife keeps saying to me exactly what you just said, or you were commenting on, which is that, but it'll be so much. They're so much worse than the Tories. But I made the point to her that this 11 billion in aid to foreign countries to assist in climate change was actually instigated by Boris Johnson.
Yes.
All they're doing is saying, this was started by Boris. We agree, and we're going to endorse it.
Yeah.
And do they not see? This is the bit when I heard that, because I think that was announced on the same day. Do they not see the dislocation, and also how people might be angry when they announce that that they're going to £11 billion to foreign countries, which will not be used, by the way, for climate change benefit. God knows where they'll go. Yeah,
frauds and mini wars.
Yeah, so they're going to give 11 billion, and then they're turning around to our pensioners and saying, and I'm nearly a pensioner, and saying we're not going to give you your winter fuel allowance. And more people die of cold than die of heat on a day like this. Yeah.
See, what they're doing is they're balancing several things, several plates are spinning here. They want to be elected again in 5 years' time. But just appealing to the average voter isn't enough. They've got to keep their base. So their base will want some far left policies. A lot of those MPs have to be internally elected to stand in that seat. So they've got to keep their supporters in those areas happy. It's every politician MP is constantly spinning 3, 4, 5 different plates. And you've got to keep them all spinning because I'll lose some votes there, but I'm gaining votes there. But if they all fall down, I'm not being elected. So they're playing politics. They're trying to give people enough to vote for them, but also trying to do enough for their core to vote for them, trying to do enough where they look competent. And let's be honest, this is what all governments do. And some governments can pull it off for 1 or 2 election cycles, but it always comes crashing down, and some governments can't even pull it off for 1 election cycle. They're just playing politics.
I noticed when we saw Starmer at the Southport Memorial, he looked tired. He looked knackered.
Well, you look at pictures of Tony Blair getting into office at 40, whatever he was, and you look at him at the next election when he was 45. He aged 10 years in 5 years.
Yeah.
The pressure, the stress. People think it'll be easy being Prime Minister. You've got all the power. You've got hardly any power. And you're constantly trying to appease everybody. It's this is a complicated machine with so many multi-moving parts. It ages you.
But what I always think
Look what it's done to Biden.
Yes, that's true. But I always think when I see that, and I think, he's obviously under massive, but how he's under massive stress and pressure, but doing such a shit job at the same time. It's not like he's under pressure because he's doing a fantastic job. He's under pressure.
But he would argue, this is the best anyone can do in my position. I've not got a rebellion yet. I've had to quash a rebellion. I've had to sack 6 Labour MPs for 6 months. They've been sacked for 6 months. Some of them might not come back if they rebel again. He's got this, he's got that. He's had 2 riots. What normally kills them is outside events. Things you didn't see coming,
like
such as the riots and stuff like that. That goes nationwide. It could be the end of him. COVID killed Trump. It's these outside things. You can control and manipulate and use propaganda for things you can see that are coming down the road.
Yeah.
It's when things hit you didn't even see that coming. Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.